Hi, it's 1975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Xbox One. And today I want to start a polite conversation in my comment section and a discussion about use of carriers and use of crimes. Now this is something that may be a hot topic for some, I don't know. Most people seem to agree with my point of view from an earlier video, but a lot of people disagreed with it. Now, in the video where I killed Paul at war, the thing that I did that was wrong and evil was the fact that I switched crimes on when Paul was in range of my carrier. Now, I freely admit that is an evil act, that is something very naughty, that is quite dirty, and I'll fully admit that. However, had I run crimes from the start, are we talking a different issue there? Now, I've always advocated when you're in a mission runner or trade ship, you can run crimes to protect yourself. If you're in a PvP ship, it's impolite to run crimes, at best. Now, as an old space trucker and not much of a PvPer, I've always been used to running crimes in my trade ships. And as many people know, the amount of times I mess up and I don't have crimes on when I'm in my trade ships and I have crimes on when I'm in my combat ship is getting to be quite a lot. I'm the world's worst. That first combat I have after I jump back into my trade ship, I get confused as to why the police aren't showing up. And the first combat I have in my PvP ship, I'm getting confused as to why the police are showing up, until I realise I'm the Muppet that didn't switch crimes. I've even taken a note of putting a post-it note on my monitor saying, check crimes. Now, somebody commented this, and there was a, I think, 35 reply conversation between me and Forza about my use of crimes against Paul at war. I thought he was being a bit disingenuous because he said it's the lowest form of PvP, where Asp versus Mamba, I don't really see that as a PvP engagement. That's just somebody, attacking an Asp. Even though my Asp is tough, my Asp is super tough, it's not designed to fight back, it's just designed to survive being ganked. I'm not going to be PvPing anyone in it anytime soon. It's designed to kill NPCs and run from people. That's simply it. I mean, as you'll see from this example, the shields are pretty tough and it can survive, but I'm not going to be fighting back. Now, the other thing I thought was a bit odd was the fact it kept getting referred to as station games when it's clearly my carrier. Now, I see a difference there. Some people don't, some people do, which is part of why I want to have this discussion about it. And the other thing I thought it was disingenuous, to call it the lowest form of PvP, when I consider, combat logging to be the lowest thing you can do in PvP. Now, Forza did reply to that. I'll get to his reply in a moment. And I mean, to me, it basically goes combat logging, fighter lag, probably primo, Healy beams, and then running crimes and playing station games I would have near the bottom. I think me and Force had a disagreement about that, but we each have our own opinion of it. I mean, he thought I'd have a go at IED if IED did the same to me, and I showed him moments where they have, and I've never moaned about IED running crimes around stations to try and get me killed. Now he sees it differently. He thinks that combat logging and fighter lag are very much deliberate cheating, and that he considers station games to be the lowest form of PvP, as in not quite cheating but still very low. So that's his opinion. Like I say, I have mine. I'll agree to disagree with most people. I mean, very unusual if you all see the same. Now, as I said, my Asp is tough, but it's tough to survive encounters like this against NPCs. It's not designed to fight players. It's not what I would consider a PvP ship. It's a mission runner, and my Type 6 and Type 7 are definitely just trade ships. So yes, I use crimes to defend myself. What I did to Paul was incredibly wrong, because I switched crimes on at my carrier and got him killed. Had I been running crimes from the start, I think that's a different issue, and that's the issue of whether you can or cannot use your carrier to defend you. Can you not run crimes while running BGS in enemy space? I'm saying I'm very much, you can use your carrier as a defense against people, and you can run crimes if you're in trade ships and mission runs. I would argue that if you don't run crimes and you don't have your carrier defending you, you're basically giving the opponent a free license to camp your carrier and murder you every time you try and return that. What my argument is that this is very much my safe haven. Now I agree with Forced and Be Great, who came at me for the switching on of crimes. That is a dirty move. That is very, very low. Someone's been shooting you, they know you haven't got crimes on, they get near the carrier, they shoot you, suddenly you have got crimes on. That's a very dirty, low tactic, and I totally agree. I've got no problem with calling out the fact that what I did was very, very cheesy and very, very naughty. But I would still say there's a difference between a carrier and a station, because I pay for the crew on the carrier, I don't pay for the crew on the station. So I have less of a problem with what I did because it was my carrier than I would as if it was a station. That may be stretching to some, but that's just my opinion. I still think it was something that I did that was very dirty. My first instinct, I'll be honest, was to try and use chaff to get Paul to shoot my carrier. But instead I switched crimes on, which is the much dirtier and lower move. Anyway, one moment while I just let the cockerels calm down and I'll be back. So the question becomes, can you use crimes at your carrier to defend yourself? And no, they didn't calm down, so I'm back and they're still noisy. So I apologise for that for anyone who's cockerel insensitive, but you're really watching the wrong channel for that. That's Robin and Taji having a bit of a crow off. I'm as far away as possible from them in the quietest corner of the house that I can find. So that's the way it goes. So the debate I want to have is it okay to use crimes on trade and mission runners, and is it okay to use your carrier to defend yourself? Now I personally think it's fine to do both, as long as you have crimes on from the start. Switching crimes on is a low dirty tactic, I'll totally agree with that. However, I feel if you have crimes on, I don't think that's a problem when you're in trade or mission runners. I think that only becomes a problem in protracted wing fights, because the incident will just get flooded with NPCs and it becomes impossible. Which is why it's frowned upon in PvP that you run crimes. I mean, it is a low tactic. I've accidentally run crimes on so many occasions now. Like I say, I've had to employ a post-it note to remind myself not to. And so far the post-it note is working. I did get accused of running crimes the other day, and I looked and I was actually wanted, so I don't know how that worked. I think the person must have shot an NPC and thought it was when they shot me. But if you haven't watched it, I mean, in the 30-minute video that I did, and I don't expect many people to have watched all of it, I did explain that I was a space trucker for up until I think it was basically middle of last year, late last year, when I finally got a Cobra. And then when the Cobra fell out of meta, I made that Mamba, and when I realised the Mamba was only good against big ships, I built an FDL. But that's it. That's the most PvP I've done. I did more PvP in a month hanging around with Newton Fusiliers than I had previously in the entire time I'd played Elite Dangerous. And I still don't consider myself a PvPer because I suck something awful at PvP. I can hold my own against some players, but even using all the cheeky gimbaled crap that I do, I'm nowhere going to compete with people that are good at this game when it comes to PvP. I am by nature a space trucker and a guy that just hangs out and runs missions in a Type 7. I still fly my Type 7 for an inordinate amount of time in open, on Elite Dangerous. I've been lucky so far that when IED have come and knocking, I've been in my ass, because my Type 6 would die to a plasma ram. The only interesting thing is my Type 6 can outrun an FDL, so it's going to be tough for them to plasma ram something that's faster than them. I'm hoping that saves me, I don't know. But as a trader, I have to take full advantage of what crimes will do to protect me from being ganked. Otherwise, I'm just going to get killed over and over and over again. But anyway, that's all for this video. I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Try and keep it polite. And I'll say that's all. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoy the discussion below.